ABC 7 Bangor.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Hurricane Ian hit Cuba Tuesday as a Category 3 hurricane, and now it's on its way to Florida. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. We'll have the latest in just a moment. Also, we'll take a look at the recovery in Canada in the wake of Hurricane Fiona last week. And opening statements began yesterday in the trial of a Corunna man accused of endangering the welfare of a child. That's coming up along with the rest of our stories. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Happy Wednesday, Devin.
Hey Susan, happy Wednesday afternoon. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Luigi and Fredericks across from Eastern Maine Medical Center, serving the greater Bangor area for over 65 years. Already, we had some fog earlier this morning. Things are really improving as that fog is now going away. We never saw any dense fog advisories this morning, but now that fog out of here, it's looking pretty decent out there for now. We'll have to watch for some clouds and even the chance for a few showers that could possibly develop throughout the daytime today. It's just a relatively small chance. Most of us should stay dry, and if anything does develop, the showers will be rather brief. Let's zoom things out right now. There's a cold front right here with the clouds right about in here. And of course, the big headline, Hurricane Ian, now very close to a Category 5 major hurricane with winds as of the last check of 155 miles per hour. And some of those clouds riding up along that cold front as well. Back here at home, though, a few showers possible today, then clearing out for the most part later on tonight, but a few more clouds on the way as we head towards the daytime tomorrow. And on top of that, though, there's a little bit of wind out there, mainly at around 5 to 10 miles per hour, maybe a few higher gusts. But overall, the wind will be behaving itself over the next few days, so thankfully we do not have to worry much about the wind. But middle 60s today, partly cloudy with a few showers possible, with that west wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, upper 40s on the way, becoming mostly clear, maybe some more clouds further off towards the north. The northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And your hourly forecast for the rest of the afternoon period, a mixture of clouds and sun, maybe a few showers, temperatures in the mid-60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. Hurricane Ian hit Cuba Tuesday as a Category 3 hurricane. The U.S. National Hurricane Center has reported top winds of 125 miles per hour, devastating some of the country's most essential tobacco farms. Their entire electric grid has collapsed. Authorities have been working overnight to restore power to the country's 11 million people. It is uncertain how Cuba will recover from the hurricane. The country already faces an economic crisis and regular power outages. As of Tuesday night, no fatalities had been reported in Cuba. Hurricane Ian is expected to get stronger over the Gulf of Mexico, where it approaches southwestern Florida. 2.5 million people have been ordered to evacuate. It will be a very long recovery for many Canadian residents in the wake of Hurricane Fiona. They're receiving help from Maine utility crews who are assisting with the massive cleanup. Many homes are destroyed and thousands have been left without power. Jason Ensley from Central Maine Power is among those working in Nova Scotia to restore power. He says they have received a warm welcome.
Well, the people are bending over backwards to help us, stopping us anywhere they go, walking over out of their way to thank us, asking us if they can do anything for us, and say, no, of course, no, we're here for you.
Jason says the main crews expect to be in Nova Scotia the next 2 weeks to help repair poles and get the lights back on. The trial of a Corunna man began yesterday. He's accused of endangering the welfare of a child after his infant daughter suffered a drug overdose. A.J. Douglas reports.
27-year-old Zachary Borg is accused of unlawful furnishing of drugs and endangering the welfare of a child, along with other charges, after his then 11-month-old infant suffered an overdose in June 2021. Penobscot County Assistant District Attorney Chelsea Lenz talked about the circumstances of the case during opening statements.
The evidence is going to show that Mr. Borg was using fentanyl with some other people in his home, and that some of this fentanyl was misplaced or lost in the house, and that just a few hours later the next morning, his infant daughter, Isabella, suffered a fentanyl overdose.
Lenz later called William Sheehan from the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office to the stand. Sheehan testified that police searched Borg's home following the reports of the infant overdose. Police reportedly found white powder residue in several spaces around the home, including the baby's pack and play and a pink teddy bear. The powder substance would later test positive for fentanyl.
You will find that the evidence supports beyond a reasonable doubt each element of these charges.
Defense attorney Harris Matson argues that the parents quickly responded to the infant's emergent medical needs. The defense attorney listed the 11-month-old's medical injuries, arguing the injuries were not life-threatening.
Isabel Borg's respiratory rate was 16 breaths per minute. Now, that rate is considered low, but not critical.
The defense emphasized that it cannot be determined how close the infant came to death, if at all, because the positive fentanyl test did not provide a quantitative measure. More witnesses are expected to take the stand Wednesday. In studio, AJ Douglas, ABC 7, Fox 22.
A Maine man who joined rioters at the U.S. Capitol has been convicted of 11 charges, including assaulting and/or resisting and impeding police officers. Prosecutors say Kyle Fitzsimmons of Lebanon charged to the front line on January 6, 2021, and assaulted several officers. According to court records, Fitzsimmons hurled an unstrung bow like a spear at a group of law enforcement officers. The object hit an officer in the helmet and bounced off. Records also indicate Fitzsimmons pulled a detective's gas mask away from his face while another rioter sprayed him with a chemical. He then released the mask, trapping the chemical in the detective's mask. Fitzsimmons also tried to pull a fallen officer into the mob. A widely shared photo captured Fitzsimmons with a bloody face after encounters on that day. The 39-year-old will be sentenced in February. Bruce Poliquin's campaign is accusing incumbent Representative Jared Golden of taking money from a group that recently red-listed Maine lobster. Poliquin's campaign says Seafood Watch's executive director donated directly to the committee to elect Jared Golden, and that Golden also benefited from donations the director made to the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. According to Federal Election Commission filings records, the donation was for roughly $667, and it was made 2 years ago in late June of 2020 during the last election cycle. Poliquin's campaign accused Golden of, quote, showboating as a champion for the lobster industry. Representative Golden's campaign senior advisor sent out a comment. You can read the full statement on our website, foxbangor.com. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, Maine's gubernatorial candidates took to the stage at the Augusta Civic Center yesterday. When we return, we'll take a look.
When it looks the part, but isn't the real thing, that's Fool's Golden. Jared Golden promised he'd be an independent fighter against Biden's spending, but then cast a deciding vote for Biden's newest spending bill that experts say will hike taxes $1 billion on those making under $50,000. Golden may think we're fools, but his recent vote shows Mainers what he's really made of. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
If you were hurt because of exposure to the toxic water at Camp Lejeune, Congress has made it possible for you to recover a settlement. Former Marine attorney James Beardsley wants to help you.
Call now to see if you qualify. Call 222-2222.
Hey, Red Sox fans, you've got to play You Pick 'em Red Sox at foxbangor.com. Local weekly winners receive prizes. Register now at foxbangor.com. You Pick 'em Red Sox is sponsored by Twin City Tint in Brewer, Comfort Shoes and More in Newport, Saliba's Rug Cleaners in Bangor, and Twin City Tile in Brewer.
Now's the time to get a great deal on taking care of your property. You need tractors rated #1 in durability and owner experience so you can do it all and do it right. Z-Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Right now, bring home the Kubota BX Series for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, plus save up to $700.
The law.
I've been a judge for 40 years. Don't waste my time.
If you break it,
You didn't pay rent.
you'll pay for it.
It's my show. Nobody cares whether you have a personality or not.
Weeknights at 5 on ABC 7. Join us every Friday this season as we celebrate the return to the gridiron with the most highlights, reaction, and analysis of your favorite teams. Catch Sports Blitz Friday at 11 on ABC 7. Sports Blitz brought to you by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 29 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. And by Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A Holden, where you'll find furniture that's in stock and ready for delivery.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
As Election Day draws closer, Maine's gubernatorial candidates took the stage at the Augusta Civic Center to speak about the agriculture industry with Maine farmers. Matthew Taronczyk has more.
Gubernatorial candidates Sam Hunkler, Governor Janet Mills, and former Governor Paul LePage took the podium in Augusta Civic Center Tuesday morning to talk about the challenges Maine farmers are facing and offer potential solutions. Each candidate was given an hour where they gave opening and closing remarks and answered questions from the moderator and Maine farmers about the plans for the industry.
I think we're leading the nation in addressing PFAS contamination. I've dedicated more than $100 million to test and mitigate PFAS-related impacts. And in particular, this past legislative session, we established a $60 million fund and an advisory committee to support farmers who were impacted by PFAS.
While Governor Mills focused on how she's working to support the industry, former Governor LePage put his focus on educating the younger generations about agriculture and criticizing the Mills administration.
We need to identify those students that really have a sense for wanting to work with their hands. I would have done two things. I would have taken $150 million and told the farmers, grow more food. It's taken $250 million, gone to every oil dealer in Maine and said, you charge them the same price as last year, and you send the balance of the bill to the state.
Maine farmers had the chance to speak out about their needs, even at times showing frustration.
We need margin. We need to keep our young people here.
Independent candidate Sam Hunkler says there needs to be a change in leadership, one that works with the farmers.
I am so disheartened by the way things are that I want a difference, and most people do want a difference. They don't know what that looks like. I decided I was either going to jump in or drop out, but I want change.
Despite tensions running high at times, Agricultural Council of Maine President Julianne Smith says the candidates provide good insight.
Each answer that all the candidates provided really gave a clear indication of how much they know about agriculture and what they will do during their administration to invest in what Maine farms need.
Matthew Taronczyk, ABC 7 and Fox 22.
State officials and Maine lobstermen addressed officials from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration last night in a scoping webinar. It was held to take public comment after NOAA accelerated the timeline for cuts to the industry. The webinar was the only opportunity provided by NOAA for stakeholders to communicate directly with the agency during the development of new measures to protect right whales. NOAA accelerated the timeline for risk reduction, which spelled out major cuts to the industry over what was supposed to be a decade. Now the lobster fishing industry will need to achieve a 90% risk reduction under Phase 2, which is much earlier than expected. Officials and lobster fishermen strongly criticized the use of a single public meeting that conflicted with other important fishery-related meetings elsewhere.
This opportunity is insufficient, poorly timed, and fails to achieve the core purpose of scoping. This feels like a box-checking exercise and not a real attempt to solicit input on plan modifications.
Right now, we are looking at a 10% reduction of the fleet in Stonington alone. People are selling out their entire business because they are scared that if they don't do it right now, they'll have no value left in their fishing operation, their business. And what are they going to do? There's only so many greeters at Walmart.
If these things are implemented, as I've seen, we're going to be turned into seasonal communities. We're not going to be year-round communities, and I think it's a shame. And honestly, being a taxpayer, I'm ashamed of my government for pushing this on me.
There were about 430 people logged into the webinar, which streamlined to 2 other in-person locations where dozens of fishermen had gathered. The Maine Center for Coastal Fisheries has introduced its new executive director. Alexa Dayton was welcomed as the newly appointed executive director Tuesday. Dayton, who brings 15 years of direct experience in fisheries science and policy, will lead the organization's operations and its 10-person staff. MCCF is a nonprofit dedicated to sustaining fisheries and coastal communities in Maine. Now, with today's business news, here's Leo Jonathan.
The Conference Board's Index of Consumer Confidence rose slightly for the second month in a row. The Commerce Department also says sales of new homes rose in August by nearly 29% compared to the month before. As the cost of mortgages go up, home prices dropped slightly in July. The S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller National Home Price Index fell 0.3%, the first monthly decline in home prices in more than 3.5 years. Demand for new iPhones is down. Bloomberg says Apple has backed off plans to step up production of iPhone 14 models, sticking with its original forecast of 90 million units for the second half of the year. And car rental giant Hertz has reached a deal with BP to build and manage charging stations across the country. Hertz currently has thousands of EVs and plans to buy 175,000 more from GM. I'm Leo Jonathan with Wednesday's Business on ABC 7.
A recent audit has discovered that the Internal Revenue Service made some child tax credit payment errors. The audit was released yesterday by the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. It found that the IRS sent out more than $1 billion in child tax credits to millions of taxpayers who should not have received them last year. The audit also found the agency failed to send more than $3 billion in monthly child tax credits to households that did qualify. Congress expanded the child tax credit as part of the American Rescue Plan Act that passed in March of 2021. Despite the errors, the IRS was still 98% accurate in tax credit payments. Authorities say a body found in Makowit Bay in Brunswick has been identified. That's next. We'll be right back.
Mainers work hard, but Joe Biden's inflation is making life miserable. Heating oil costs are crushing Maine families. I'm Bruce Poliquin, and for too many, this means choosing between gas, groceries, or freezing. Biden and all Democrats created this mess, and they're making it worse. Congress needs more Maine common sense, not more spending on those who won't work or more taxes on those who do. I'm Bruce Poliquin, and I approve this message because Maine needs a congressman who will stand up to Biden and help Maine families.
Does your dream kitchen look like this? Or this? Or maybe you need a little more inspiration? Get it when you explore the complete in-store showroom displays at Hammond Lumber Company. When you find the look you like, the Hammond team will help you customize it, including accurate 3D renderings, so you can visualize your project before the work begins. Hammond offers delivery from any of the locations across Maine and New Hampshire and professional service after the sale. Your dream kitchen begins when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Hey, it's Eric from Green Bear 420. We've been in business since 2010 and going strong, so stop in and check us out. We specialize in glass art by over 100 local artists and even have live glass blowing. Plus, we carry incense, novelties, t-shirts, and hard-to-find items. We have tons of local products for the tie-dye wearing person in your circle of friends. Come see us at 531 Moosehead Trail in Newport. And remember, Green Bear 420, it's not just a store, it's a lifestyle.
Need to unwind from a long day of work? Come experience life at Mad Cat & Company Bar and Grill in the North Brewer Shopping Plaza, where we serve delicious food, ice-cold beer, and unique cocktails. We have a fully stocked bar, American pub-style food, exemplary service, a fun atmosphere, and plenty of weekly entertainment. We now offer Sunday morning brunch, and stick around with the kiddos for Sunday afternoon kids karaoke and dance party. Our newly remodeled banquet room offers plenty of space for your next get-together. It's never a dull moment at Mad Cat's because we are the party.
This Veterans Day, join Fox ABC Maine as we salute and honor our veterans. Are you an active, inactive, or retired member of the armed services? Do you know someone who is? Then upload your photos on foxbangor.com/Maine Heroes. We will randomly select as many veterans as possible to win a gift card. Locally sponsored by Cat Tracks, Chase's Family Restaurant and Hideaway Lounge, Leo & Sons Auto Repair, and The Farmer's Table.
Authorities say a body found in Makowit Bay in Brunswick has been identified as a missing Freeport teen. Brad Rogers has the latest on that investigation.
Late today, Freeport police and the state medical examiner confirmed what many here in Freeport had feared, that the body of the young man found is Theo Ferrara.
We have been informed by the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner that the body has been identified as Theo. The medical examiner's office still needs to determine the official cause of death. As you can imagine, this is not the outcome that myself and my colleagues gathered here together had wanted.
According to authorities, Theo's body was found in the water on the shores of McCoy Bay in the same area where they'd been searching for Theo the past several days.
This morning at 11:15 a.m., a pilot from the Maine Marine Patrol discovered the body of a young man in McCoy Bay, just off Bunganuk Point.
Families and Theo's classmates here in Freeport had all been hoping that Theo Ferrara would be found safe and be back in school soon. The harsh reality is classmates and the community must now find a way to deal with the loss.
So as you can imagine, we're all human. We all feel it. It's devastating for all of us.
Police still don't know why Theo left home that day or how he ended up in the water. Chief Goodman says their investigation into his disappearance and death is far from over.
The investigation will remain ongoing. We still have resources that are still at work and will be at work over the next several months until we tie up every available loose end with this investigation.
Families close to Theo say he was always a fun-loving kid and well-respected by his peers. They say he was a gifted artist, a talented soccer player, and they never imagined something like this would happen.
That was Brad Rogers reporting. As Maine continues to deal with a worsening overdose epidemic, a first-of-its-kind report shows broad dissatisfaction with existing drug policy approaches. Yesterday morning, the University of Maine released the results of a nonpartisan survey administered to 417 registered voters across the state. The research shows Mainers strongly support laws that shift away from criminal penalties for personal drug use. A majority of Maine voters also support measures that would expand access to medically monitored withdrawal, as well as investing in easy-to-access, flexible treatment programs.
The more that we can convey that to policymakers, the better, because a lot of times, unfortunately, they'll operate in a vacuum, and based on whoever's talking to them at the moment, like that's what they think their community is demanding of them, and it's not necessarily the case. So
the data suggests it would be feasible for advocates to win a statewide referendum aimed at fundamentally restructuring Maine's drug laws. The research was done in the summer of 2021. Many women are increasingly using fertility clinics as they consider putting off or starting a family. With more, here's ABC's Ika Jachi.
Many women struggling to get pregnant or those choosing to delay pregnancy turn to fertility clinics for help. The number of infertility procedures, including IVF and egg banking, has tripled since 1995. That's according to a CDC report. The procedures are also becoming more successful and safer with time. Between 2017 and 2018, there was an improvement in birth outcomes for babies, as well as an increase in single deliveries, which is linked to improved maternal outcomes. Although babies conceived with these procedures still disproportionately contribute to multiple births and poor birth outcomes, there are strategies to reduce those risks. With this Medical Minute, I'm Ika Jachi.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Offensive and divisive. That's Paul LePage's legacy. But it's not just what he said as governor. It's what he did. LePage slashed funding for cancer screenings for women. He refused to invest in clean energy, kicked over 1,000 seniors off their prescription drug program, and even opposed funding to Meals on Wheels. So, if that's what Paul LePage did last time he was governor, we can't send him back. The top funder of A Better Maine is the Democratic Governors Association.
At Home, Kitchen, Bath, and Flooring in Dover Foxcroft are proud members of the Flooring Network here in Maine. We have our flooring installers on staff ready for you and your custom flooring project. With over 50 years of combined experience, we'll work with you from start to finish, including demo and cleanup. Backed by the Flooring Network's state-of-the-art warehouses, we have a massive inventory to provide you with the best value and fit any flooring budget you may have. So stop in, meet our flooring experts, and see what we can do to make you feel at home.
We're no football players, but we do know a lot about Medicare.
So why call some out-of-state 800 number
when help is right here at home?
Listen to what these people have to say.
My insurance kept going up and up and up and up.
I could never have navigated through the loopholes.
Gave me all my options and signed me up with what I needed within an hour.
Senior Planning Center was a lifesaver for us.
Oh, by the way,
we represent most Medicare health plans.
Don't believe the lies from Washington's special interests. Jared Golden's a different type of Democrat. I respect that Jared served in the Marines. Jared's a friend of law enforcement, and we definitely can trust him to keep our communities and families safe.
Jared is standing strongly against defunding the police.
This endorsement was not a given. Congressman Golden's earned it.
Mr. Golden will definitely fight for us and be in our corner and have our backs, absolutely.
I'm Jared Golden, and I'm honored to approve this message.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the upbeat stories making headlines today.
For the past 4 months, Naomi Mendez has been crocheting her own Quincera dress. The party, a Hispanic coming-of-age tradition to celebrate turning 15, Mendez is self-taught and even documented her dressmaking on Instagram before unveiling the custom piece at her Saturday celebration. The San Francisco School District and City broke ground yesterday on a 135-unit development exclusively for teachers and staff. The district owns the land and monthly cost will be based on income. The average San Francisco teacher makes $82,000 a year. Zillow says the median rent in San Francisco is $3,700 a month. And Felix Zhang is the only student on Earth to ever earn a perfect score on the AP Calculus AB exam. He got every single answer right. The Penn High junior says he prepared a lot and got a lot of help from his parents, who are both math professors at IU, South Bend, and Notre Dame. His next derivative? To figure out what school he'll attend. And those are some of the other stories making headlines on ABC 7.
Now let's check your full midweek forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, happy Wednesday afternoon. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Scott's Recreation, New England's largest trailer dealer, home of Maine's lowest camper and tractor prices, with locations in Turner, Manchester, Herman, and Orono, Maine. We had some fog developing earlier this morning, and we're starting to improve that now as that fog is getting out of here. So we had some sun earlier this morning. We'll see that mixed in throughout the daytime today with a little bit of cloud cover as well, and even a few showers developing with a weak cold front that will be moving in from the northwest, going toward the south and east as well. There's another front out towards sea, and of course the big headline now is that cold front kind of interacting with parts of Hurricane Ian. This thing has really gotten its act together in a big hurry, now almost a Category 5 major hurricane. It's developed in a big hurry this morning, getting very close to the Fort Myers area. When you see those pink shades right there, this thing has really developed. We're starting to see a little less of that, which is probably some good news, but still winds up to 155 miles per hour. And of course, bad storm surge expected, nothing to really mess around with. But this thing's been tracking from the south, going toward the north with winds up to around 155 miles per hour and moving towards the northeast at 10 miles per hour. The red shades here, hurricane warnings. The orange shades here, tropical storm warnings. This thing will be moving on land within a matter of hours if it hasn't already. It'll continue to track off towards the north and east and eventually back towards the north and west again. You can tell some of the boxes here kind of overlapping. We've had some new updates that come in before we hit the air, though. But otherwise, you get the general idea. It's going to weaken into a tropical storm, maybe even a depression once it moves back on land. So it could emerge over water again. We'll make sure to keep you posted on that. Back here at home, the wave heights are still active as well, around 3 to 7 feet, according to the buoys out there. So we'll have to watch that closely. No advisories in effect for the wave heights at this point. Our average high is 66 degrees. We'll reach for the 60s for the next few days, even upper 60s for you Saturday. Back down to the 50s again Sunday, Monday, with the lower 60s again as we head towards you Tuesday. Futurecast moving forward, though, a few showers cannot be ruled out as some clouds continue to move through. Becoming mostly clear tonight, a few clouds cannot be ruled out. But as we head towards tomorrow, though, a few more clouds will try to sneak in here. But overall, we will be looking pretty dry before we become mostly clear again as we head towards Thursday night into Friday. So middle 60s today, partly cloudy with a few showers possible. West wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, upper 40s, mostly clear. The northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. For tomorrow, middle 60s becoming partly cloudy, with that northwest wind getting up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Scott's Recreation, extended forecast. Lots of sunshine on Friday, with highs in the mid-60s, upper 60s by Saturday, with a mostly cloudy sky and partly cloudy on Sunday, highs falling into the upper 50s.
Looks like some good weather to get out and check those leaves that are starting to change. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening with Peter Dubois and Beth Jones on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
Feel the difference of alpaca apparel from the Blue Alpaca Ranch and Store in Belfast. Stop by their ranch location to interact with these amazing animals and enjoy the beautiful Maine outdoors with your very own alpaca walk. Shop in-store or online today and take advantage of their free nationwide shipping. With their incredible selection of socks, sweaters, hats, and more, experience the unique qualities that alpaca fiber brings with the Blue Alpaca. Feel the difference.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.